This is the HPT.
Sit right down, put on your poker face. You with the big dogs now. Better bring your best game. Talk trash all you want. To me, it's all the same. You won't leave with much when you come in second place. I'm the one with the stack showing 7 to the jack. Gon' cry to your mama cause I'm sending you back. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. Last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand.
Hello everyone and welcome to the HPT. I'm James Larson, joined by Maria Ho, and we've got a brand new episode of the HPT for you tonight. And we come to you from the Ameristar Casino Resort Spa, St. Charles, right outside of St. Louis.
We always get a really good turnout in the St. Louis area, and this time things were no different. There were over 5,000 total entries throughout the series, with the main event drawing nearly 400 players. That was enough to put the prize pool over the $500,000 mark, and today's winner is going to take home almost $130,000.
Well, enough chit-chat from us. Let's head down to the final table, take a look at the chip counts and payouts, and get this final table started.
First place prize is just under $130,000. Second place taking home over $78,000. Third place is going to walk away with $52,000 and change, and every single player will get to take home just under $13,000. Matt Culberson comes into this final table as our chip leader. He has just over $2 million in chips. Johnny Master has just under $2 million. Jeff Brin, $1.6 million. And our short stack is Joshua Turner with $378,000.
All right, the blinds are $15,000, $30,000 with a 4K ante. I always like to predict who I think's going to win, and I'm going to go with Matt. I think Matt's going to take this down. There's 3 Matts at the table, so I have a 33% chance in being right on this one, Maria.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Matt as well.
It's folded around now to Johnny. Johnny's going to raise to $75,000 with ace deuce suited.
Ron folds. And now we look down at the pocket aces of Shawn Roberts. Shawn Roberts is no stranger to the HPT final table. And you know, everyone likes to wake up with aces firsthand at the final.
This guy's HPT resume is phenomenal. He's got 2 HPT wins. This is his 3rd final table. I expect big things out of Shawn Roberts. And right in there in the first hand, he looks down at pocket aces. He's going to 3-bet to $225,000.
It doesn't hurt to be a good player that also runs good.
The 9 seats and the 1 seat, Zach, so the action around.
Action around now to Johnny.
You know, I don't think that I would call this 3-bet if I were Johnny. I don't think ace deuce suited is a good enough hand to call that sizing with. And you know, Shawn's also a good player, and you're going to be playing this hand out of position against him. I think I would have just let it go. I don't feel like people come out of the gates 3-betting light.
And the flop is 9-8 tray, couple of spades. We'll start with Johnny.
Johnny doesn't connect at all with this flop. And I can't imagine that this is going to go past the flop once Shawn bets.
I've seen Shawn play a lot of poker. I've played poker against him, and I can never get a read on this guy. He looks that exact same way in every hand he's in, and he's going to win this hand a pot of just over 1.1 million chips.
My name's Shawn Roberts. I live in Springfield, Missouri, and I own a lighting company. You know, every single time you get in a spot like this, it just seems overwhelming, the amount of stuff you got to overcome and hands you got to win to get here, and just always feel grateful. The thing that I've figured out over time is, you know, if people don't have any clue what you're doing or what you're thinking, it just gives you a little bit of an edge, you know, and that's pretty much all in expression and emotion. So.
It's James Larson and Maria Ho coming to you from the Ameristar Casino St. Charles here in beautiful St. Charles, Missouri. A lot of money on the line. Up top, $129,147. Truly life-changing cash.
Everybody folds over to Jeff.
And Jeff is going to raise to $75,000 with King 10.
Folds over to the button of Johnny.
Johnny, only $360 invested in this HPT event, so a free roll of sorts for him. Min cash today, just under $13,000 if you go out in ninth place. But everybody wants that title, and they want that six-figure payday, and we're going to give it away here tonight on the HPT.
Now folded over to the big blind of Ron.
Ron sporting his John Deere hat.
He doesn't look like he drives tractors very often.
I don't think he's got a John Deere out front in the parking lot or possibly in the valet. I don't think so.
Are you shocked that a girl from LA knows what John Deere's are?
Yeah.
Ron decides to defend here with ace-7 of clubs.
And the flop is 5, tray, deuce, couple of diamonds. We start with Mr. John Deere. He checks over to Jeff.
Jeff is going to follow it up with a continuation bet here, even though he just has king high. Ron actually has the best hand right now with ace high. Ron also has a gut shot straight draw to a wheel. I can't imagine that he's just going to fold, though.
Well, he's going to do just that. He folds.
I think if I were Ron, I would have just called one there.
All right, folks, it's time to step aside for a quick commercial break. But when we come back, more exciting final table action right here on the HPT. Welcome back to the HPT. It's James Larson and Maria Ho as we come to you from the Ameristar Casino Resort Spa right here in St. Charles, Missouri.
Matt Culberson is our chip leader. He has $2.4 million. Jeffrey Brin is second in chips with just under $1.7 million. Johnny Masters real close behind him with $1.67 million. And our short stack is Joshua Turner. He has 13 big blinds.
We get back to final table action. I've got to say, Maria, this is probably the first time we've had 3 Matts at the final table. Matt Culberson, we've got Matthew Mueller, and we've got Matt Canella. That's a lot of Matts. Matt Culberson in the 1 seat raises to $82,000 with his pocket kings.
Folded around to Ron. He looks down at ace-8 offsuit.
He's going to fold now over to Shawn Roberts. Looks down at pocket sixes. Shawn with over $400,000 in lifetime earnings. Has said it before, his 3rd HPT final table. His plans for the cash today, he said he's just going to buy some stuff. I kind of like that plan.
Shawn completes from the big blind.
And the flop is 9-5 tray, couple of hearts. Shawn's going to check over to Matt.
This is kind of a flop that might get Shawn to call a couple streets. He only has 1 over a card to his pair, and if he puts Matt on 2 big cards, then he's going to at least peel here.
Matt Culberson, another success story here on the HPT, only into this event for $375. Turn card now is the 9 of diamonds. Shawn is first to act again.
And I kind of like this lead from Shawn. I think he wants to protect his hand against 2 over cards. Doesn't really want Matt to see a free river here in case Matt checks back. I think Shawn's betting because he thinks he has the best hand. Matt can't really love this 9 pairing on the turn, but he's not really just going to fold to this bet of $150,000.
Matt's 32 years old. He's a baseball instructor, baseball coach. He told me he's trying to knock it out of the park today. River card, the 10 of hearts. Shawn checks.
And although I think Shawn checking this card should make Matt feel fairly comfortable he has the best hand, it looks like he just wants to go to showdown.
Up top, $129,147. Maria, I've got to ask you because I don't know, but how does it feel to win over $100,000 in a poker event?
Yeah, honestly, it's really surreal sometimes to think you're playing a game that you can win this kind of money. And it's really hard to be at a final table and not have that in the back of your mind. You know, a lot of professionals say that they don't think about the money, but I bet that it's definitely somewhere in the back of their mind at all times.
Action on Mike Rossi. I like to follow him on Twitter. He's always a fun read. East Coast Rossi. He folds. Over now to Johnny. Wonder what Johnny's listening to with those beats there. What do you think he's listening to? A little rap, maybe?
Definitely hardcore rap.
Hardcore rap. Maybe some Public Enemy or yeah, it's probably hardcore rap. Action now over to Shawn Roberts. Looks down at pocket fives. Shawn owns a lighting company back home.
And now this is where it gets confusing because the other Matt C has kings now. Matt Canella in seat 9. It's like Matt Culberson just passed it over to him.
I feel bad for our editors and our graphics guys. They've got all these Matts to keep track of and all these pocket kings. And Matt Canella from the 9 seat is going to 3-bet to $180,000.
And you know, we've seen Johnny call a 3-bet light before with ace-deuce suited, and now Johnny decides he doesn't want to be on the defensive. He wants to be on the offensive. He re-raises to $580,000. Bad timing for him, though.
Matt Canella likes everything about this situation.
I think Matt is going to just end up going all in here.
Matt's from Des Plaines, Illinois. He's an advertising executive. Started the day with $1.6 million in chips. Yeah, this has obviously got to be an all-in here, right, Maria?
All in.
So Matt Canella is going to do just that. He is all in. And Johnny looks a little uneasy now.
Johnny's just obviously posturing here. He's not going to call a 5-bet shove with the Jack-10 offsuit, but he doesn't want to seem like he's 4-betting light, which, you know, you can't blame him. You don't want that kind of image this early on.
Yet another success story. Johnny into this event for just $360. What a return on his investment if he happens to win this thing. $129,000 up top, but right now the min cash 9th place is just under $13,000. Johnny's getting a little extra TV time here, but he's obviously not going to make this call.
No amount of hardcore rap can make him call with Jack-10 offsuit.
And that is a full, ladies and gentlemen, for the winner of the hand.
The action continues here from the Ameristar Casino St. Charles. It's James Larson and Maria Ho. And when we come back, we'll have more exciting final table action. You're watching the HPT. Welcome back to the HPT. It's James Larson and Maria Ho broadcasting from the Ameristar Casino Resort Spa here in St. Charles, Missouri.
Well, we've got both Matt C's on top of the chip counts. Matt Culberson, though, has the chip lead with $2.7 million. Matt Canella just under $2.4 million. Jeff Brin has $1.6 million. And the other Matthew here, Matthew Mueller, has a little bit of work to do. He's the short stack with $374,000.
So the action continues. We're on our quest to award another HPT title. And not only that title, but that person will go home with $129,147. Min cash right now, $12,915. And looking at these names, looking at these players, we've got some very good poker players, and I got a feeling we're going to be here for a while, and we're going to see some very exciting poker. It's folded around to Mike Rossi. He's going to raise to $85,000 with the Sammy Hagar pocket fives. He was a singer back in the day, Maria. We talked about this on another show. He had a song.
I'm right. I'm glad that you know to clarify everything that's circa 2000 and under.
Action now on Shawn Roberts. I love watching this guy play poker. He makes it look so easy. A lot of success on the HPT. His third final table. I know he really wants to win this thing. Who wouldn't? Not only the title, but that 6-figure payday.
I know that in past final tables, I've always been impressed with Shawn's play, so I'm expecting no different here.
And Shawn's one of those good guys, too. Nobody can really say a bad thing about this guy. He's fun to be around, and it's great to see him at these HPT events. Shawn's going to make the call from the big blind with 7-4 clubs.
And the flop is 8-4-3, 2 spades. Shawn has middle pair. Mike's 5 still best, though.
And Shawn is going to check it over to Mike.
Give the lady what she needs.
I've noticed from watching Shawn at previous final tables, he avoids trouble. The guy plays a very, very structured game, and he avoids getting himself into too much trouble, especially early on in the final table. Mike bets 150,000 chips, and Shawn's going to make the call.
And the turn is the ace of diamonds. And both players decide to check here, not loving this turn card.
The river card is the jack of diamonds, and Shawn's going to check. And Mike's going to do the same thing. He's going to flip over his pocket fives.
So Mike's going to win a small pot here with his pocket pair.
I see Mike's got the headphones in too. I wonder if he's listening to the same thing that Johnny's listening to. Blinds are 15,000, 30,000 with a 4K ante. It's James Larson and Maria Ho broadcasting here from the Ameristar Casino in St. Charles, Missouri. Action on Mike. Pocket tens.
I will not be folding.
Very colorful poker player. Loves to have a good time while he's playing.
95.
He's going to raise to 95,000.
And Johnny looks like he's going to at least call. He's been fairly active so far early on.
Johnny's 47 years old from Clarksville, Tennessee. He's going to make the call with a suited 8-7 hearts.
How much of a little?
Now to the button we go.
They look kind of similar.
Shawn Roberts folds.
Kind of.
I don't know if I like the slow peel of your cards. I feel like I just want to know right away if I have two aces. Like I don't want to look at the ace slowly and be like, oh, do I have it? Do I have it? Matt calls with ace jack of diamonds, and now over to the big blind of Jeff, and he has king queen offsuit, and he also makes the call.
Somebody's going to lose the limb on this one.
4 players go to the flop. We're running out of room here on our screen with the graphics.
Everybody has possibilities, though. Nobody really has the other person dominated. They're not really sharing cards here.
And the flop is 2 8s and a queen.
Well, Johnny is the lucky recipient of hitting this flop the best. He has trip 8s. Jeff, though, has second best with a pair of queens.
Checked over to Mike Ross. He's going to bet 200,000. Johnny likes this situation. Johnny flopped 3 of a kind, 3 8s.
You know, there aren't really any draws possible here, so I would probably just slow play if I were him.
Johnny's assessing the situation. He's going to make the call. Matt gets out of the way. Now over to Jeffrey Brin.
And I like that Jeff's taking his time to kind of think about what his opponents have here. I think sometimes people have tunnel vision and they just see, oh, I have top pair here. It's obviously a call, but you have to think when somebody bets and somebody just calls when there aren't really any draws possible on this board, you have to think maybe you're beat here with king queen.
And now a raise by Jeff to 500,000.
I don't know if I love this raise here. It's going to get Mike to fold, though, and Johnny's obviously happy to get more chips in the pot with trips.
Mike's going to fold his pocket tens, and now Johnny is going to raise all in.
You know, unfortunately for Jeff, it's only 486,000 more to call. There's $2 million in the pot. He might just call because of that, but he's in real bad shape here.
Jeff is 37 years old. He's from Hayes, Kansas. He owns a carpet store.
Well, I like that Jeff decides not to look at the pot odds and makes a disciplined fold here. But once again, if he didn't raise, he wouldn't have cost himself extra chips to kind of find out where he was at, I think.
Johnny puts his fist in the air as he drags that pot of over 2 million chips. And the action continues. Blinds going up 20,000, 40,000 with a 5K ante. It's James and Maria tableside with you. Had a great time this week here in St. Charles, Missouri.
Action to Shawn Roberts now. He looks down at 7-5 offsuit. Gonna fold.
Now over to Matt Canella.
Another big pair for Matt here. He has pocket queens.
Matt's going to raise it. He's going to raise to 100,000. Folded now to the 3 seat of Matt Mueller.
Hi, my name is Matt Mueller. I'm from Columbia, Illinois, and I play cards for a living. To grind it out just like I've done the whole time, been short stacked the whole tournament, so it's going to keep it with the same strategy I've used.
And that, my friends, is a 3-bet shove by him.
It's not really a read.
Matt Mueller just down to 7 big blinds. Can't blame him for going all in this spot with this hand. Unfortunately, he only has 1 overcard to Canella's pair.
Now JT's got a decision to make here. He looks down at pocket 3s.
I think it's a pretty easy fold, especially with Canella to act behind him.
He's going to fold.
Like 100 something more. 150.
So 180,000 chips now for Matt Canella to make the call.
It's a good bit more. It's a good bit more, dude. It is.
We're going to have our first Matt versus Matt showdown here as Matt Canella does make the call.
on the flop.
I think Matt's going to win this hand. I really do. I got a good feeling. All right, Maria, it's ace-10, suited in hearts, going up against the pocket queens. Nobody wants to be the first person eliminated. The flop, 9-8-5, 2 diamonds.
So no immediate help to Matt Mueller, but he does have some backdoor outs here, some flush and straight possibilities.
A 7 or a heart, for sure.
Turn card is the 10 of diamonds. A little bit of help for Mr. Mueller.
He's looking for an ace or another 10 here.
If not, he's going to be eliminated in 9th place. The river card is the Trey of Hearts, so that's going to do it for Matt Mueller.
Matt's going to be eliminated in 9th place, taking home just under $13,000. Still a good payday, and I'm sure we'll see him back here soon. More final table action from the Ameristar Casino Resort Spa in St. Charles, Missouri when we come back.
Welcome back to the HPT. It's James Larson and Maria Hope broadcasting from the Ameristar Casino Resort Spa right here in St. Charles, Missouri.
The Mats are still our chip leaders, and they're very close in chips. Matt Culberson with $2.6 million, Matt Cannella with $2.5 million. Also in the $2 million chip club is Johnny Masters. Our short stack is pro and HPT final table veteran Shawn Roberts with $495,000.
Yeah, never count out Shawn Roberts, even though he is the short stack right now. Action will start with Mike Ross. He's going to fold over to Johnny. Johnny looks down at 6 deuce, quickly releases his hand. JT with the shades and the flannel.
Hi, Joshua Turner from St. Louis, Missouri, professional poker player. I got a lot of poker goals in mind that I want to accomplish, but this being my hometown, this would be right up there with the best of them.
He's going to go ahead and raise to $95,000 with the old Queen 9.
And we're seeing a lot of big pairs at this final table as Ron wakes up with kings behind him. Sure, we're going to see a 3-bet here. Ron only has 16 big blinds, so I think if I were him, I'd probably 3-bet shove, because just 3-betting off of that stack, I think without going all in, makes your hand look stronger. But you know what? Ron decides he's going to slow play here with his 16 big blind stack and just calls the $95,000.
Ron is from Quincy, Illinois. This is his first HPT main event, so he ran real well this week, and he's right here at the final table with these other 8 players. They're all battling it out tonight to see who will be our new champion and go home with $129,147.
Matt Cannella calls from the button with ace-jack offsuit, and I think this is kind of the problem when you only have 16 big blinds and you try to slow play kings is you don't really want to take this flop 3 ways necessarily. With aces, I can see that, but kings is a little bit different, obviously, and so I probably would have just gone all in if I were him.
And the flop is 9-8-5.
So Josh has a piece with top pair here. Ron still has the best hand with the overpair to the board. And you know, he's going to get Josh to move all in front of him. So no doubt Ron is going to be all in as well.
All in bet by Josh.
I think Ron's taking a little bit because he doesn't love this flop, but you have to understand that if someone flopped a straight or a better hand than you, they're probably not going to play it this way.
Ron is all in. Now over to Matt Cannella.
Matt's obviously going to fold here. He knows ace high can't be good.
Get in where you fit in. Southern term, I think.
And he's going to release his cards. So we flip them over. Josh and Ron. Ron ahead with his pocket kings.
2 kings.
Hoping his hand holds up as he is all in for his tournament life.
Sneaky.
Trying to get the double up.
And Josh only has a little bit more chips than Ron here, so if Josh loses his hand, he's pretty much going to be out as well.
Turn card now, the Jack of Hearts, so more outs for Josh.
Josh is looking for a 9, a queen, or a 10 here.
He stands up, he fist pumps his friends in the rail. Meanwhile, Ron can't even watch. River card is another 8, this time the 8 of diamonds, so the 2 pair of Ron are good, kings and 8s.
So Ron's going to double up here and basically leave Josh with nothing but one big blind.
Blinds are 20,000, 40,000 with a 5K ante. It's James and Maria coming to you from the Ameristar Casino, St. Charles, Missouri. All right, action is folded around to the 9 seat of Matt Canella. And Matt's going to raise it to 105,000 with ace tray. Action now to the other Matt, one of the other Matts in the 1 seat, Matt Culberson. He's a baseball coach. He's going to 3-bet now to 285,000 because why wouldn't he? He wakes up with pocket queens.
It really does seem like Matt Culberson and Matt Canella are trading hands. Matt Canella had queens, now Culberson has queens. Culberson had kings, and then Canella had kings.
Jeff folds. Mike folds. And now over to the elder statesman at the table. Johnny looks down at pocket nines. Everybody's got a hand.
550.
And, you know, Johnny never wanted to back down from a pre-flop confrontation. He makes it 550,000 to go. I don't love this cold 4-bet with nines. I just don't think nines is a good enough hand to do that with.
Canella quickly gets out of the way.
Culberson hasn't been shown to get out of line at all. In fact, he's played fairly tight. I'm not really sure why Johnny thinks this is a good spot.
And now it's a 5-bet, a re-raise to 1.4. And Johnny says, let's just get them all in the middle.
Culberson quickly makes the call. And I don't know, I just think Johnny played his nines way too aggressively. I think that he put a lot of chips in the middle needlessly. Now it's his tournament life on the line. He is looking for a 9.
I think he just got a little excited, Maria. I think when you aren't running the best and all of a sudden you wake up with a decent hand like pocket nines, I think he kind of fell in love with it and he wasn't going to let it go.
I'm going to do what you did.
The flop is 10-5 deuce, 2 diamonds. Both players have a diamond. Culberson has the best diamond.
Boy, Johnny is not only standing up, but he's got his jacket over his shoulder. The headphones are out. He's halfway out the door. There's 2 more nines in the deck, Johnny. It'll be okay. 6 of diamonds on the turn.
So Johnny is down to 2 outs, the 9 of hearts or the 9 of spades. Otherwise, he'll be eliminated.
And now he's even putting the jacket on. Come on, there's one more card left. And the river card, no 9. It's the 5 of spades. That is going to do it for Johnny. He's going to go out in 8th place. But Maria, not for nothing, 15,000 in change will be his parting gift here on the HPT. He played very well. Congratulations on your 8th place finish.
All right, folks, it's time to step aside from the table. But when we come back from this quick commercial break, we'll have more exciting final table action right here on the HPT.
Welcome back to the HPT. It's James and Maria coming to you from the Ameristar Casino Resort Spa right here in St. Charles, Missouri. 7 players remain here at this final table.
Matt Culberson has increased his chip lead significantly. He has just under 5 million in chips. Matt Canella with 2.3 million. Ron and Michael both comfortable with about 1.5 million. And our very, very short stack is Joshua Turner. He has 1 big blind.
Yeah, you talk about a chip in a chair. JT, Josh Turner, just 40,000 chips remaining as the blinds are 20,000, 40,000 with a 5K ante. Ron folds. Now over to Shawn Roberts. Shawn folds.
Over to Matt Canella with Queen 9 of hearts, and he also folds. I think I would have liked to see him open there with that hand. Matt
Culberson in the 1 seat building kind of a wall of chips there, Maria. He's going to make the call with 9-7 offsuit.
And now Jeff behind him with ace-10 also calls.
As does Mike Ross now with 7-6 of hearts.
And Josh is all in here with Queen 4 offsuit. He had just enough for the ante and the big blind.
And the flop is King 6-7, couple of diamonds.
So Mike has flopped 2 pair here. Culberson has middle pair.
Better have it. That's all I can tell you.
And the bet by Mike is going to be 100,000. The other players fold.
So if Josh can hit a runner-runner miracle here, he could more than quadruple up, but it's not looking great for him at the moment.
He's in a tough spot here, Maria, a real tough spot, and that's going to do it there on the turn, the deuce of diamonds. The river card now, the 10 of spades, means nothing because the winner is going to be Mike, eliminating Josh, but he's going to go home with $18,188. Congratulations to him on his 7th place finish here on the HPT from St. Charles, Missouri. Blinds are $20,000, $40,000 with a 5K ante. It's James Larson and Maria Ho. I want to remind you to check out our webpage at hptpoker.com. Find an event that will work for you. And who knows, I say this each and every show, you could be playing at this final table for the unreal cash. It looks like a lot of fun, Maria. I wish I was out there with these guys. I've been on this show now for 7 years. I want to play at one of these sometime. I just don't have the chops like you do. That's why I'm in the broadcast booth.
Do you learn nothing from me talking all day about hands, though? Come on, James, you would think.
You would think I would learn something one of these days. Well, Jeff raises to $105,000, folded around now to the 9 seat of Matt Canella. He's going to make the call with pocket fives.
Flop is Jack 9 deuce, 2 clubs. So Jeff has paired his 9 here. Matt checks it over to him. And you know, Jeff feels fairly comfortable betting this.
He's going to wager 225,000 chips over to Canella.
And Canella actually decides to check raise here to 695,000. Wow, I mean, that's a strong play, and it may or may not get Jeff to fold the best hand, actually.
Wow, tough little spot here for Jeff. It would be his tournament life if he makes the call. Everything going through his head. Does my opponent have a jack? Does he have a club draw? He's going to make the call, and he's going to realize, Maria, he's in pretty good shape.
I think because of the flush draw on the flop, maybe Jeff thought that that's what Canella had, and I think that's why he called.
Turn card is the deuce of spades. Still good news for Jeff. And now Canella down to 2 cards in the deck. One of the remaining 2 black 5s that are left. And the river card, Maria, neither one of the 5s. Instead, it's the 7 of diamonds. Jeff smiles. He's going to double up. So Jeff Brin has had some success here on the HPT with 2 12th place finishes. He's trying to win this thing, this time here in St. Charles, Missouri. Action over Matt Canella.
I think Matt's going to take this hand off after what happened the last hand, but you really can't blame him for making that move. I kind of liked it.
He folds now over to our chip leader in the 1 seat. He's going to fold, as does Jeff. Action over to Mike Ross. I like this guy. He's going to fold on the button.
So now to the small blind of Ron. He looks down at ace-8 offsuit. And he has Shawn Roberts in the big blind to his left. And Shawn has only 12 big blinds. So I think it's kind of a spot where you need to just be putting Shawn all in with this kind of hand. But instead, Ron's just going to limp in and let Shawn see a free flop off of his short stack with 6-5 of diamonds.
Flop is Jack 10-7, couple of diamonds.
So now Shawn's flopped a flush draw, so he's not going to go anywhere.
Action is on Ron.
I think Shawn's planning to just go all in here after Ron bets.
He's going to bet 65,000.
Shawn does move all in here, and now Ron can't call, and I feel like, you know, this would have been a real easy spot for Ron to just go all in pre-flop, and now he's kind of invested more chips, and he's not going to make this call, obviously. Ace-8 is just a hand that's hard to play if you don't flop anything.
Ron is from Quincy, Illinois. This is his first HPT main event, and he's going to fold.
6 players remaining here in St. Charles, Missouri. More HPT final table action when we come back.
Welcome back to the HPT. It's James Larson and Maria Ho as we come to you from the Ameristar Casino Resort Spa right here in St. Charles, Missouri.
It seems like Matt Culberson is the player to catch here. He has $5.1 million. His nearest competitor, Michael Ross, has just $1.7 million. Jeff, Matt, and Ron are all over $1 million, and Shawn Roberts is still working with the short stack of $565,000.
I said it before, and I'll say it again. Don't count out Shawn Roberts, even though he's on the short stack. This guy knows how to play the game of poker. Action is on Shawn Roberts. Looks down at 10 tray of diamonds. He's going to fold. Canella folds in the 9, as does Culberson.
I think if I were Matt Culberson with the chip lead on the button and it's folded to me, I would be opening almost 100% of my hands there, honestly.
Jeff's going to raise to $95,000 with King 10.
Jeff in the small blind, Michael Ross in the big blind with Queen 8 offsuit calls the $55,000.
Players are starting to loosen up a little bit now, starting to talk. Flop is 10, 9, 7, couple of hearts. Jeff's going to lead out, $125,000 chip bet.
Jeff has top pair here. Mike has an open-ended straight draw.
Both players getting a piece of this flop. And Mike is going to make the call. And the turn card now is the deuce of spades. This time, Jeff is going to check it over to Mike.
I think that's a good check. I think Jeff doesn't really want to bet and get raised here, but I'm sure he's checking with the intention of calling any bet that Mike makes. But Mike decides to see a free card here.
Pot of 470,000 chips. A 4 of diamonds comes on the river.
It's just virtually a blank here. If I were Jeff, I would have gone for a value bet, but he checks it over to Mike, which, seeing as though Mike doesn't have anything, Mike might want to try to bet here to win.
He is reaching for chips, and it's a bet of $315,000. And Jeff snap calls here.
Queen 8 is flipped over for Mike.
Easy call for Jeff there. You can't really blame Mike for trying to win the pot on the river when it's checked to him.
A pot of just over 1 million chips. Jeff smiling again, as he should.
And his number.
His brother, Jason, is in the crowd rooting him on. Jason's played many of our HPT events, cashed several times, so the Brin family well represented here in St. Charles, Missouri. It's James Larson and Maria Ho, tableside with you.
You always look down here like you wonder if I'm still here. I'm still here.
Canella limps in from the small blind with Jack 6 offsuit, and Culberson checks his option with Ace Deuce of Hearts from the big blind.
And the flop is Ace King Tray. Action will start with Canella. He's going to lead out with $50,000.
Canella takes a quick stab here with nothing, but Culberson quickly raises with top pair.
Now Canella announces a raise.
Canella deciding to get aggressive in a limped blind versus blind pot.
Wow, a re-raise to $350,000. Culberson's going nowhere. He quickly makes the call. As you can see, a pot size of already 810,000 chips. As we go to the turn card, it's the Queen of Clubs. Canella now with a Broadway draw.
And Canella looks like he's pretty much giving up on this pot now. If he hits a 10 on the river, though, he will obviously bet. But the river is the 3 of spades, so Canella is playing the board. So he is just going to check.
I think he's thinking, how do I get myself into this situation? So Culberson bets $75,000. I guess if Canella makes this call, he's just basically hoping for a chop.
Yeah, and he has to just be right 1 in every 12 times to make this call profitable, but obviously I still don't think it's a call. I think Culberson's very clearly value betting. Either way, more chips going the chip leader's way from one mat to another.
Matt, 32 years old. Matt Culberson, a baseball instructor with over $480,000 in lifetime earnings. Only $375 invested in this event. I love those stories, Maria, these success stories of these people that get in on these qualifiers. And folks, you can do the exact same thing. Check out the webpage at hptpoker.com and come on out on the road and join us.
Blinds 25,000, 50,000 with a 5K ante.
I would love to have 7-8.
Folded over to the button. Jeff here is going to raise it up.
Jeff's picking up a little steam, and it doesn't hurt when you got cards like that. Pocket queens, and now raising to 150,000 chips.
Mike Ross in the small blind calls with 10-8 of diamonds.
Mike Ross from the East Coast now resides in Chicago.
Ron, who's been playing real tight this final table, gives up ace-3 from the big blind.
So it's Jeff and Mike. Flop is Jack, 10, Trey.
Mike has middle pair. Jeff still has an overpair with queens here, and he bets 225,000.
Action back over to Mike. He may see one more street. And he's going to make the call.
Can you read it?
Coming to you from the Ameristar Casino Resort here in St. Charles. Turn card now is the Jack of Clubs. Mike checks over to Jeff.
That's going to slow Jeff down. He also checks back.
River card now, the 7 of Diamonds.
Wow.
Mike's giving up on the hand. He checks, as does Jeff.
Not a great run out for queens there. I think Jeff's just happy that it held with this run out.
Jeff seems to be smiling a lot, and I know if he takes this thing down, he'll really be smiling, because up top, just over 129,000. We'll have the conclusion after this quick commercial break. You're watching the HPT. Welcome back to the HPT. It's James Larson and Maria Ho, broadcasting from the Ameristar Casino Resort Spa right here in St. Charles, Missouri.
Matt Culberson has 5.5 million. Jeff Brin has 2.3 million. And our short stack is still Shawn Roberts. He's hanging on with 415,000.
Shawn Roberts won't go away. He's got alligator blood. Blinds 25 and 50 with a 5K. Mike Ross is going to fold over to the John Deere green of Ron. He releases his hand. To the button we go. Shawn Roberts, ace-6 of diamonds. I think this might be good to get them all in the middle. On the button, he's got an ace. They're suited. He's all in.
He's going with it, and it looks like Matt Canella's asking for a count.
Matt in the small blind. And the dealer says it's $395,000 to make the call. So Canella makes the call with his pocket eights.
Shawn Roberts hoping to stay alive here to have a chance at another HPT title. He's going to need an ace or a couple of diamonds.
The flop, 9-5 deuce, couple of spades. Canella still in the lead. The turn card, the 8 of clubs.
It's not over. Oh, it's 7.
And Shawn is going to become our 6th place finisher, taking home $21,525. Just another notch on his HPT belt.
Shawn Roberts plays a lot of these HPT events, and he's got a lot of success. And you know he'll be back at another final table before you know it. $21,525. James Larson and Maria Ho coming to you from the Ameristar Casino right here in St. Charles, Missouri. Up top, $129,147. Do you know how much money that is? That's a lot of money. A lot of money.
I'm from Mississippi, brother.
I feel like with gas prices these days, though, it's just a couple tanks of gas if you drive a Range Rover.
Right. Ron's going to raise to $125,000 with ace-7 of clubs. Folded over to Jeff. He's going to make the call. And Mike calls from the big blind with 5-4 of clubs.
And the flop is Queen 9-5 Rainbow. So Jeff has top pair here.
Jeff checks over to Mike. And Mike's going to check. All three players now checking the flop of Queen 9-5.
The turn is a 6 of hearts, so Ron has turned a gut shot straight draw. Jeff still has the best hand with his top pair of queens.
Jeff's going to bet $325,000. Mike Ross gets out of the way. Now over to Ron.
And I think $325,000 is just too much to call here for a gut shot unless Ron plans on raising.
And Ron is going to fold. Jeff's going to show his hand.
So that's all the time we have on tonight's show, but as Shawn Roberts exits stage left, I think the other players are probably happy because he's a great poker player, and now this opens things up for them.
Yeah, we definitely thought that Shawn had a great chance of making another run for HPT champion, but it's not to be this time. But there are still a lot of good players left, and I know that they're all looking at that top prize, and they're all trying to play their best game right now.
Now, if you're watching this show and you think you have what it takes to play right here on the national stage, well, why not give it a shot? Check out our webpage at hptpoker.com. Pick an event that will work for you, and who knows, maybe you'll be playing for the life-changing cash. That's our show for tonight. For Maria Ho, I'm James Larson, and we'll see you next time on the HPT.